This is the reported true story of how author Stephen King got inspired to write the best-selling novel, The Shining. Here we explore the history and hauntings of the real Overlook Hotel. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the story on the Stanley Hotel. On a cold night in 1974, Stephen King and his wife Tabitha checked into the Stanley Hotel. Right before it boarded up for the winter, they stayed in room 217. The hotel in Estes Park, Colorado, sits in a valley nestled in the snow-capped Rocky Mountains. Being the only guest in the hotel, King wandered down the long hallways looking for inspiration for his third novel. That night, King experienced a nightmare where he watched helplessly as his young 3-year-old son was chased down the long hallways by one of the hotel's fire hoses. Before the nightmare could finish, King jolted awake. As beads of sweat dripped from his forehead, King lit a cigarette and began writing down notes, as the dream was still fresh in his mind. By the time he finished the cigarette, he had the beginning, middle, and end formed for a story. This was the birth of one of the most popular horror novels of all time, The Shining. The Stanley Hotel was built in 1909 by entrepreneur F.O. Stanley as an invitation-only resort for the wealthy upper class. The story goes that Stanley, who invented the photographic plate and the Stanley steamer motor car, moved to Colorado in 1903. He stayed in a hotel in the Rocky Mountains. He was hoping the fresh air and sunshine would relieve his tuberculosis. With his health declining, he was hoping for a miracle. Just after one season, hotel staff said his health was restored. This inspired him to build the resort. In 1930, the resort was sold and turned into a hotel. The early years of the hotel saw a lot of glam and glory, but soon began to develop a reputation for ghostly encounters. Past guests have reported seeing F.O. Stanley in the billiard room, as it was his favorite room in the hotel. Stanley's wife Flora has also been seen in the music room sitting at the grand piano. One time, a guest took a picture during a tour and caught an older couple looking out from a mirror. People believe that this is Mr. and Mrs. Stanley looking out at the tour guest. Room 418 has reported the most reports of paranormal activity. Children are often heard giggling as they run up and down the hallways. One time a couple checked out early, complaining that they were kept up all night by the children playing. The eerie thing is, there were no children checked in that night. Cleaning crews often report unexplained occurrences in the room, such as spotting impressions on the bed when the room has been empty. These are a few of many report sightings of paranormal activity. Some believe it is the land that is haunted, not the hotel. In 1980, Stanley Kubrick directed an adaptation of The Shining starring Jack Nicholson. Even though Stephen King was vocal early in production regarding his disappointment with the director's filmmaking decisions, the movie has become a classic in the horror genre worldwide. In reality, none of the movie was filmed at the actual Stanley Hotel. The exterior scenes were filmed at Timberline Lodge in the Oregon Cascade Mountains. Most of the interior scenes were constructed and filmed in the studio at Elstree Studios in Hertfordshire, England. In 2015, the Stanley Hotel put in a hedge maze on the property to match the one in the movie. Over the years, parts of the interior have been renovated, but the hotel still has the turn-of-the-century atmosphere and still brings in horror fans today. During the summer months, the hotel holds tours and activities to keep the history alive. The Stanley Hotel is indeed one of the most popular haunted locations in the United States. Haunted or not, the Stanley Hotel will always be referred to as the Shining's Overlook Hotel. Let us know if you have visited or stayed at the Stanley Hotel and if you believe it is haunted.